Drivers Mate Podcast, back with another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please check out some other videos. There's a lot of good content I've put out there, some exclusive on Patreon, some exclusive to CMI on YouTube, that's Clark & Co. Creative Media Innovators, but abbreviated to CMI on YouTube, right? So there's lots of content over there that's not on the main Drivers Mate Podcast, right? Lots of in-depth talks and lots of small little pieces of wisdom and gems, all kinds of shorts and good stuff over there, right? So check that out, right? But thank you for tuning in again. Like I always say, please share, like and subscribe. Comment, it helps unscripted small YouTube creators permeate the algorithm and not be so much suppressed by the bigger channels, media outlets and paid for branded content, right? So if you could do that, it would help a lot, and not only me, it would help other YouTube creators that are like me show up on your feed and other people's feed, right? Because it tells YouTube what the people want to see. So you can reach me on all socials as well, Drivers Mate Podcast or Drivers Mate TikTok, Instagram, Patreon now too. You can request a video to be made or request that I react to a video or speak on a topic, and I just might oblige you, right? So let's get into this. Today I'm going to do another reaction style video, and in these videos what I usually do is I pick a YouTube short at random. You get my initial reaction and then I give you a bit of my opinion, if I have an opinion, right? So let's go.
Science actually is based on ignorance. Science is the invention that created modern science. Was not a discovery of any piece of knowledge in geography or astronomy, Copernicus or Darwin, no. What the big scientific revolution which launched modern science was a discovery of ignorance. For thousands of years, people thought they know everything. That some holy book or some holy person or whatever, they know everything. We don't need to learn anything new, we know everything.
That's quite true, actually.
And science began with when some humans admitted we don't know everything.
Start to ask questions.
There is no book in the world which has all the answers. There is no person in the world that knows everything. And now that we have the courage and honesty to admit our ignorance, now we can start investigating. And that's science. Science, actually.
So, yes, he's absolutely right. Now, off the bat, I am no scientist, right? I didn't even do that well in science in school. But I've always had an interest in new discoveries, new information, and how things work. The whys and the hows, right? And it just interests me. It keeps me creative, keeps me inquisitive as an adult. What he's saying is correct. Science isn't the idea that we know everything there is to know. Science is literally the humility of humans saying, let's find out how this works, right? Why is this like this? And then let's give theories, let's do experiments, and let's find out, right? That is the beauty of science, right? Coming up with the question and then finding out the reasons, right? That is science. And obviously when we're thinking about thinking and philosophy and just the way things are put together, there's Socratic method, right? Which is basically the scientific method too, right? So going down a logical line of reasoning on a particular subject and checking out the whys and the hows, right? And coming to a conclusion. So yes, science is essentially asking questions, right? It is the acknowledgement of ignorance, acknowledging that we do not know. When you ask a scientist, an honest scientist, something that they do not understand or they're not sure about, most of them will say to you, we don't know yet, but we're open to new information, and that is what we'll always be open to, right? New facts, new figures, right? We thought the universe was one way at one time, then we discovered it was a different way at another time, right? So, yes, thumbs up for science. We love science. We love scientists, we love technicians, we love people that are inventing and researching things all the time. They make all of our lives better, right? There'd be no phones, no cameras, no internet if it wasn't for technicians and scientists and inventors, people that ask why, find out how it's done, then do something about it, right? If it wasn't for these people, society would not be progressing. So yes, we appreciate them. On another note, you get science disbelievers, like, so people that think science is all fake, which is kind of crazy. And these people usually lean more on the religious side of things. So they're still thinking in that old-fashioned way, right? Of everything that you need to know is in these Bibles. Is your priests and your popes and everybody that will tell you what's real in the world, right? But obviously that is a very flawed way of thinking. Yes, there is incongruency in some sciences, right? Some things don't make sense, some things aren't true, some things aren't proven. But that is the point in science, is to find out why and how, right? Some theories are wrong, some hypotheses are wrong, some explanations are wrong, but we get new information by people actually trying, learning and going and studying, looking for ways to make this better or find out the truth, right? So to the science deniers, I would really question your reasons why. Like, you could, if you're one of those people, you can let me know in the comments why you think that. And I would also question your mental stability, your mental clarity, and your ability to use reason and logic, right? As offensive as that might sound, if you're a science denier, that science is all fake and it's all made up, then I would really seriously question your mental capability, right? And not so much your IQ, because you might have a high EQ, you might be very, very socially affluent or fluent, right? You may be very good at some things in life, but if you think science is fake or useless, then I would seriously question what you make of reality, right? And how it is all of the things you use on your day-to-day basis came to be, right? How is it that you're comfortable using everything and existing in this world where science has provided for you the best of the best of the best, and believing that science is not real or it's not a real thing, right? Very questionable, unless of course you're someone that lives out in the jungle somewhere and lives off the land, and even then you are a practitioner of science, right? You're using the survival tools and ideas that people have created over time, which they came about by scientific processes, right? Coming up with medicines is scientific processes, right? Figuring out the best ways of starting and maintaining fires is a scientific process. Making weaponry and hunting is a scientific process, right? So yes, hats off to science. We love science, right? We appreciate science, and I think the idea, all the different sectors of science and topics of science should be more broadly mainstream, right? There should be more people, more kids being able to understand and see different sciences and learn the interesting facts, right? Let's make science fun again, right? And there's people that I enjoy listening to, like Star Talk podcast. I know that's very like surface level, but I'm not a scientist, right? And there's another lady that I like to listen to. Her name is Sabine. I'm not sure her last name, but she's also a scientist, and she gives YouTube news, gives science news in YouTube format, right? Which is very interesting. So I love that. I love seeing physics memes, astronomy memes. Like, I just love it, right? Making science fun, making it digestible, because you don't want to get into the place of like how it was back in school. You need to learn this curriculum and remember all these facts, right? So there's an interview out there of Michio Kaku, right? Which is he's a decent guy, right? I think he's a physicist, but I think he's a quantum physicist as well, right? I have one of his books, The God Equation, right? Really good book, hard to read all through it because I don't understand everything, so I take my time, right? But anyway, there's a Michio Kaku interview out there where he's saying basically school beats the creativity out of you, the questioning out of you. It really destroys the scientist out of you because it makes you have to memorize all these facts and figures just to pass this test that you don't actually care about, right? And once you pass the test, you forget about all of that nonsense because you were under stress and you were under force to remember these things, right? So you're not actually learning from an inquisitive place, right? So it is harder to channel and funnel new students into science and actually be passionate about science because of the way the curriculum is set up and because of the way society doesn't push science, right? It doesn't uphold the standards of science or the subjects, right? Promote them mainstream. When I was a kid, like they had a few, like, because when I was a kid, well, we didn't have social media and all that, but luckily they did have a few shows, right? School shows and like Brainiac Science Abuse and stuff like this, right? You can go find these shows still on the internet somewhere, archived, right? But there was some semblance of science, right? When I was a kid, if you missed a day of school or something, there was programming that was set out that has a little bit of maths in it, has a little bit of English in it, has a little bit of science in it. They made sure that was there on TV. Although it wasn't the best, wasn't the most educational, it was still there, right? But now, I don't watch TV anymore as an adult. Most people don't anyway, right? But I don't know what students are going through now, how the curriculum's looking. There's a good chance the curriculum is still set out based on funneling people into jobs, right, into the working industry, how it was always set up to do, to fund and power manufacturing, right? In America and in Europe, that is what schooling was majority set up to do. So yes, if we can promote science more, right, in the different sectors of science, like your biology, your physics, your quantum physics, your astrology, your astrophysics, yeah, you name it, your chemistry, all of these things have interesting, they're all interesting branches of the main thing that is science, right? Just like there's interesting parts of English and there's interesting parts of art. We should make an effort to make these more mainstream, right? Because it doesn't have to be complicated Einstein, Newtonian equations, right? It doesn't have to be that, right? That's a part of science, and that belongs to certain people's instructional formats, but it doesn't have to be for everybody, right? There's cool, unique things that science can teach you that help you in your everyday life and just entertain you and educate you. So edutainment, right? There is that. There's a whole sector of that out there on YouTube and the internet. You just have to look if you're interested. But I would suggest starting with a meme page, right? Because they're going to break down scientific things in the most simplest, funny formats, right? In memes, and then you remember these terms, you remember this subject matter, and you can expand on it later if you actually care. But yes, hats off to scientists and science as a whole. These guys make our lives way better, right? They've enhanced our knowledge, they save lives year after year after year by their research and their efforts, right? So thank you to scientists. If you're out there studying science of any kind, of any branch, hats off to you, keep at it, and you're doing a good thing, and you can potentially change the world with your theories, your study, your research, right? So keep at it. Congratulations, right? We support you. Love to you guys. Scientists, hats off, right? You make the world a better place. So let me know what you think in the comments. What are your opinions about science? Are you someone that appreciates science, or you're someone that doesn't know very much about science? Or are you someone that just doesn't care about science and thinks it doesn't matter in society, right? Money matters and economics matters. All of these things, social science, money science, I know it's very pseudoscience, like psychology is a pseudoscience, right? But they are science. Science is no less, right? Well, they are less science, but anyways, no disrespect to you guys, but thank you for your time. Let me know what you think. Please check out another video on Drivers Make Podcast. There's lots of good content out there, entertainment that'll make you laugh, things that'll teach you, and just subject matters that you wouldn't necessarily get on your big mainstream channels, right? That not everyone is willing to risk their lives to talk about, right? I know it's life's dramatic, but their jobs, their social standing to talk about these subjects. But I am, because I don't care, right? I'm a real person, just a geezer in a van, just like you, right? So please like, subscribe and share. It helps the algorithm, it helps channels like mine, it helps keep real people real, helps keep freedom of speech free. Check me out on all the socials. You can request a video be made on Patreon now. There's something you want to talk about or a video you want to react to, you can send that over to me in a DM privately or in a comment or something, or email if you want, driversmakepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to let me know about something, an issue you're going through, maybe I can help you, right? Maybe I've got experience in dealing with that in my own life. But other than that, thank you for watching. Check out the next video, Drivers Make Podcast, and we're out.